Hi, welcome everyone. Good afternoon. This is Tulsa's 2021 Virtual Kindergarten Transition Panel. Today we will be talking to our local magnet and charter schools, and we'll be able to go through what exactly is transition, what does it look like currently, and how we can ensure you to have a successful one for your entire family. A couple of items that we'll be going over. Our agenda today is first, we'll just talk about what exactly is a transition. My name is Felicia Detheridge. I'm I'm the Associate Director over Quality Assurance and Special Services. And my co-host today is Miriam Conley. She is our ECP Data Specialist, and she'll be helping coordinate all of the events today. After we go over the importance of kindergarten transitions and what that looks like, she will also be doing panelist introductions, and we will have an opportunity to go through some of our frequently asked questions. After that, we will also have an opportunity to address any questions that you may have. So thank you for the families that are able to attend this live event currently. A couple of things to go over is if you have a question that you would like to submit, depending on the device that you are using, if you're using a laptop or a desktop, you will be able to see a Q&A button at the bottom part of your screen right next to the chat box. You can also submit all of your questions anonymously if you choose. And then if you are using a device like an iPhone or an Android, up at the top right, you should be able to see a button that also gives you the Q&A option as well. If you do need additional tech support at any time, you can use the chat box for help, and you can message the moderators directly for assistance. After we get done going through all of our frequently asked questions, we will then address any questions that are submitted through the Q&A section. So really quickly, what exactly is a transition? Well, this is a psychological process that occurs in response to new situations and life events. All of transitions are brought about by change. They do have the ability to impact us emotionally, physically, intellectually, and psychologically. And this is a crucial time for our kiddos right now. They are about to embark on a life transition, and they can either be positive or negative and planned or unplanned. Lucky for us, this is definitely a planned transition that they are about to experience. And with all of the support surrounding the Tulsa program and the receiving schools, this is determined to be a positive event for them. These transitions can also impact both children and adults the exact same way. That is why it's so imperative for the work that we do to focus on a dual generation approach, ensuring that we are able to support not only the child, but the family holistically to ensure that this whole experience is very successful. So the transition process is really made up of 3 different stages. We have our endings, our neutral zone, and our beginnings. Currently, your child is gearing up to go through an ending of their time with Tulsa and all of the experience that they've had here. We're going to be entering the neutral zone before we start in the beginning of them embarking on the rest of their educational journey. So with that said, I will turn it over to Miriam so she is able to speak on behalf of why kindergarten transition is so important.
Thank you, Felicia. So kindergarten is one of the most significant transitions in a child's life. If we look at it through the Bridges model that Felicia just described, kindergarten transitions represent an end to what your child has grown accustomed to in preschool. Like adults, children grow accustomed to their environment. So your child has been comfortable with their school building, their friends, and their teachers. They understand that their current classroom's expectations and daily routines, and they know exactly what to expect. But what they also know is that children take comfort in the structure of their school day. But the first day of kindergarten will mark the beginning of new expectations, routines, and also relationships with peers and teachers. So your child is going to be going into a new environment when they attend public school for the first time. So not only are they going to be learning new things, but the way that the material is taught may also be different. And they're also going to learn their way around a new school building, make new friends, and interact with new teachers. And there are also some other firsts that they might experience, such as riding a school bus or eating lunch in a cafeteria for the first time. So your child has made progress towards kindergarten readiness at CAP, but they may still experience anxiety about starting school. And that's where the neutral zone comes in because children may be fearful about starting kindergarten. And even though they know what to expect and they have that classroom experience, they may still be anxious about leaving the comfort of their CAP classroom to start school. So this is where parents can ease nervousness and uncertainty through strategy. So preparing for kindergarten can be a chance to reassure your child and excite them about the experience. You can do so by implementing bedtime routines. So before school starts, you can practice going to bed and waking up at appropriate times. You can also talk to your child about kindergarten and share what it was like for you. For example, you can share the name of your friends, your favorite parts of the year, and what you learned during that time. You can also read books about kindergarten at home with your child, and you can use virtual means to visit the new school or attend a virtual orientation if possible. Even if you can't tour your new school in person, you can drive by the building or look at pictures of the new school online, just to familiarize your child with the school building and their school route. Another important thing that you can do is practice following directions. So you can continue to practice following and giving directions at home or while running errands. Some examples of that would be practicing using walking feet at the grocery store, or you could practice direction comprehension by asking your child to repeat directions back to you once you give them. It's also important that parents prepare themselves for kindergarten. Enrollment processes vary between districts and schools, but parents can prepare by collecting information in advance of the school year. So to do so, it's important to check the school district's website. So checking the district website or the school website is important. And also it's good to check the social media pages as well for important updates. The district will offer information on how to schedule appointments, enrollment appointments online, which is very helpful. It's also important that you gather all your required documents ahead of time because applications may ask for items like birth certificates, emergency contact information, health and nutrition documents, IEPs, and other important special education documents, identification cards, and immunization records. And you may also be asked for proofs of residence like a utility bill or proof of income. And it's also important that you know the important dates for your school and your school district. So you can find important conference, enrollment, and holiday break dates on the school's website. So we've talked briefly about what to expect and how to prepare. And so now we'll move into panelist introductions. So today joining us, we have representatives from College Bound Academy, Collegiate Hall, Tulsa Legacy Charter School, Dual Language Academy, Mayo Demonstration Academy, Zaro International School, and a few associates from CAP Tulsa. And so now everyone will introduce themselves as they appear on the screen.
Hello, I'm Ms. Cox at College Bound Academy. I am the Chief Academic Officer and get to support our teachers and our students and our families. So excited to see you guys today.
Hello there, I'm Liz Carvajal. I am also from College Bound Academy. I'm the family liaison, so I help family with any enrollment issues, translating IEPs, and also any community outreach if any parents or families need my help. I'm glad to be here and thanks for the invite.
Hi, I'm Whitney Matthews from Collegiate Hall, and I work in our family engagement team. I am so excited to be here as you parents are taking this big step. I know that as a parent myself, that was not very long ago at our house and very exciting. And so I just want to send you all of the support and the love in this really exciting time.
Hi, I'm Angie Walker. I'm the Director of Family and Community Partnerships at Tulsa Legacy Charter School, and I'm really excited to be here today too. And normally we're in person, so this is really new to me, getting used to introducing myself through Zoom meetings, right? So I engage our families and I help them with tools and resources necessary to continue on with their scholars' academic success. And yeah, so thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Irma Sandoval. I am the principal at Dual Language Academy. We are a part of Tulsa Public Schools. As a bilingual principal, I connect with families, connect with students, and I am always here to serve any way I can. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the invite.
Hi, my name is Kenneth Joslin. I'm the principal at Mayo Demonstration School. I've been at Mayo for about 11 years. We are a lottery magnet school with about 420 students. I'm involved in the day-to-day operations of the school, but also heavily involved with parent involvement, parents in my office all the time. And I know almost all of our parents pretty closely. So if you choose to come to Mayo, I hope to get to know you soon.
Hi, I am Emily Temez. I'm the lead kindergarten teacher and part of the leadership team at Zero International School. And I also have an incoming kindergartner, so I know what an exciting and important time this transition is. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much. And now we will move forward with introductions from our CAP staff.
My name is Andy Cooper, and I am with CAP Tulsa Special Services Department. I'm the senior team lead, and I am helping to place children as well as exit them into the kindergarten, into their kindergarten year. And we want to do that as best we can for any child that is receiving special education services.
Thank you, Andy. And now we'll have introductions from our translators that will be supporting parents in the chat.
Good afternoon, my name is Ivan Colon and I'm part of the bilingual support team here at CAP. Muy buenas tardes, mi nombre es Iván Colón, soy parte del equipo de apoyo bilingüe de CAP y estoy aquí hoy para servirles con cualquier pregunta que tengan.
Hi, I am Niang. I am a bilingual support from CAP for our Zomi family. Kami Niang hi na tuni na ay bawa campaign na sama. Ay amanchang ina mo atom na lang chang aung gen.
Thank you. And so now that our introductions are complete, we will get into our frequently asked questions. So the first question, and this question will be for Megan, what is your program's enrollment process?
So College Bound utilizes the Tulsa Public Schools online enrollment process, and that can be accessed at enroll.tulsaschools.org. And we are always happy to help. We know that that's a new process as of last year, so if families need any support with that, they can reach out to us at our email, enroll@collegeboundschool.org. I'll put that in the chat too, just in case a parent needs to jot it down. So that window is open right now. I know that's true for most of the schools on this call. So that time period is open right now until February 12th, and parents can actually select multiple schools. That way they can rank their top few choices to find the schools that best fit their students' needs.
Thank you. Would anyone like to add and give us a little bit more information about the enrollment process at their school?
We ask at Tulsa Legacy Charter that you give our front office a call at 918-794-1442, and our office manager will be more than willing and able to help you with that process. She'll lead you through the Tulsa Public website, as College Bound said as well, but she's pretty much open to help with that process. Her name is Mrs. King in our front office.
Thank you, Angie. And if there aren't any other additions to that process, then we'll move to our next question. How does your program support children with special needs and developmental concerns? So first, we'll ask Andy to describe the process for children leaving CAP.
So any of our children that have special needs or developmental concerns that we have identified or have been working to identify at CAP Tulsa, we like to have a transition meeting with the public school partner. And in this case, when we know ahead of time, if they are choosing a charter or magnet school, we like to make sure that we include those schools as well in transitioning them most appropriately and for their least restrictive learning environment, so that the child has the needs at the school that they are going to be supported best, and that way the parent is also very well aware of what that school has to offer, what supports that their child will have in place at each school. And then we have a meeting between the two teams to make sure that the transition of services gets brought for the child as well.
Thank you, Andy. And so would anyone like to add how they support children as they receive them to their school?
I'm happy to jump in. So at College Bound, we really work to individualize the support for each student. So we think about checking in with if a student has an IEP or a behavior plan, looking over that, getting more information from the family. That way the family can share with us any particular needs or areas of concern that they are thinking about. And then we really work to individualize it. So we have students who receive speech services, occupational therapy, physical therapy, if that's what they need. And then we offer some in-class support or some out-of-class support, depending on what works best for that student, or a combination of both. So we really tailor it to the child to best help support them. So we're always happy to answer any questions on that, checking in with families individually as well.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to give some further insight into how they support children with special needs at their school?
Hold on. There we go, unmute. I apologize for that. So at Collegiate Hall, we recognize that what's good for students with differing abilities is inherently good for all students. So the interventions that you might see in a sort of traditional pull-out special education classroom, those are built into all of our classrooms. For example, you might see access to a co-teacher that's right there on site for some of that one-on-one coaching or interventions and supports that would build up and work with those 504s and behavior plans and IEPs. And we're consistently looking at ways that we can modify and support those. Another really intentional design is our environment. We focus on neutral, calming colors. We really specifically design that so that all of our classrooms are very similar and have that soothing, calming sound. We have our calming places so that students can build up those regulation skills and be able to really take control of their own feelings and their own opportunities to meet classroom expectations.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Whitney. And for CAP parents on the call, what she's describing is similar to the safe spaces that you'll see in CAP classrooms. Thank you. Would anyone else like to add? Okay. And if we do not have any more answers, we'll move to our next question. How is kindergarten different at your charter or magnet school? And I would like Kenneth to start us off.
I can't believe I actually remembered to unmute first. Sorry, let me read the different. How is our kindergarten different? Well, I think one of the biggest differences in our kindergarten program, and it's not just a kindergarten program, it's all of our classrooms, is first of all, we are an open air environment. People say, well, we don't have walls. Well, we have to have walls, obviously, but we don't have internal walls and doors for our classroom, so it's big, wide open space. This allows the teachers and the teachers' assistants working together to support one another. They also, it provides more eyes for adult eyes to be on students. Almost all of our classrooms are focused on collaborative learning. And then also, and this surprises a lot of people, we really strongly believe in experiential learning, and we spend a great amount of time, to the support of our PTA, sending students on what we refer to as being their experiences. And it's our belief that even as kindergartners, it's much more realistic for them to experience something than it is to just perhaps have a story read to them or have a lesson taught to them. We do those things as well, and we think those are important, but we have a lot of hands-on learning opportunities and a lot of out-of-school field studies to expose children to more real-life events. That's probably one of the biggest things that I would say is different.
Thank you so much, Kenneth. And Irma, would you like to share a little bit about Dual Language Academy?
Sure. So our school is different from most schools in the fact that we are bilingual. So we teach your child to read and write in their native language, in their home language, in the grades of pre-K, kinder, and first grade. When they reach second grade, then they will start about half and half. So opposite to other bilingual schools in the area, we start with less and we add more of the target language. So we start with like 75% of the native language and 25% of the second language. And then by second grade, we're 50-50. We also do a lot of hands-on learning. Our students learn how to do research since pre-K. I know this is a kinder transition meeting, but in kindergarten, they will be doing research with a group of students. They will be learning about it. They will be creating something with it, with their hands, and then they will present their project. We have events where we invite families to come and listen to their child, teach them what they learned, and show them what they made. We also start teaching them technology skills from an early age. So kids in kinder are already programming. They're programming on the iPad or iPads. And then thereafter they start programming on their Chromebooks. So we also have Hour of Code, which is a national event where all students participate.
Thank you, Irma.
I think I'll go next. So I'm at Zero International, and I think what makes our school different is that we are in language school as well. We are a Spanish immersion school, and we start in kindergarten with 90% in the target language, which is Spanish. They are immersed in the Spanish all day long. All of the core subjects, language arts, math, science, and social studies are all in Spanish. We also have humanities, which is our specials classes, art, music, PE, computers. The computer teacher and art teacher are bilingual as well. So they do receive that target language during humanities as well. And we have a wonderful, wonderful bilingual library that has tons of titles in both English and Spanish. We do the being there experience as well, lots of hands-on activities.
Thank you, Emily.
At Tulsa Legacy, we are a rigorous arts infused program. So we have a lot of hands-on as well. We just learn through the arts, but we do provide our scholars with rigorous content that supports their social and emotional and physical and cognitive development. And we believe in high expectations, equal results. And even for our youngest scholars, we expect for them to master content as well. That will set them on a trajectory to be successful in college and the world beyond. So,
thank you, Angie.
And at College Bound, we really believe that college starts in kindergarten. So we really believe that this big transition that's coming up is really important for lifelong success. So we're excited to welcome families and welcome new students in kindergarten. And what really sets us apart is we have a very rigorous academic program, but we really think about the whole child as well. So we really have a more structured school environment, helping to support kids learn boundaries, helping to support our students learn how to regulate their emotions. And then we really have high expectations for their academic progress along with their social emotional progress. And we work to support students and families to reach those high goals. One thing that is unique for kindergarten for us, we have 2 full-time teachers for each classroom. So it's a little bit more similar to the experience at CAP. I taught kindergarten at a few different schools, and I think it's really special and unique that we get to have 2 teachers in each kindergarten classroom help support students make that big transition that you guys are looking towards. And so with those 2 adults, we're able to do some exciting things. We have a centers room so that students have opportunities to do play-based learning. We have a STEM program so that students are able to get to know new concepts and explore, as well as a social emotional learning program that they're able to work with Ms. Jackson as well. So thank you so much for thinking about College Bound for a kindergarten option for your kiddo.
Thank you.
If I could,
Oh, Whitney, you muted yourself.
do I get a gold star for being the first one to mute myself? Good, great. So at Collegiate Hall, our kindergarten might look a little bit different or a little bit similar to several of my awesome peers on this panel. We are a STEM focused, so science, technology, engineering, and math. We're a STEM focused TPS partner charter school. So we're a college prep program free in Tulsa, and we recognize that college readiness starts even at that pre-K and kindergarten age in this very early stage of our education. And so our goals and our metrics are integrated into our play-based learning and our activities. We also focus daily, it's integrated into our academic plans where we have a daily social emotional learning portion, and that's built on every day where we expand that. And we're really helping our students to reach those high expectations that we have that we know will make them amazing and bright scholars for Tulsa's future. We have in each of our pre-K and our kinder classrooms, we do have co-teachers as well. So you are able to focus on small groups, or you're able to maybe break off. If a student is having a challenging day and experiencing some really big feelings, we have abilities to support that. So it does make it a bit of an easier transition in that it might look a little bit familiar to what your students have been experiencing for the past few years.
Thank you so much, Whitney. And so we'll move into our next question. Will my child have homework?
I can start
And
off.
Emily, oh, yeah, thank
I'm
you,
sorry.
Elizabeth. Go ahead.
I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
At College Bound, literacy is really important. So what we do is our kiddos take home a reading log. And so we use our parents as partners and have them do the reading with the kiddos at home, practicing sight words or letter sounds, and logging what they do so that we can continue work here at school the next day.
Thank you.
Tulsa Legacy also has homework every evening, and that's just to make that school to home connection, and for our parents to touch bases with their students on what they did for the day, but not only that, to support reading as well as their math skills. So that's Monday through Friday, actually.
Literacy is very important at Zero International as well. And yes, they will have homework in kindergarten, which will consist of reading in their native language. We don't want them to stop reading in their native language just because we're in a language immersion program. They will also be working on letters, sounds, syllables, sight words, and other literacy skills.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to add a little bit
Yeah,
more about the homework at their?
This is Kenneth at Mayo again. I think our homework is about like everyone else's. I think oftentimes parents think of homework as a bunch of worksheets, and we do not believe in sending home worksheets to anybody, but especially 4, 5, and 6-year-olds. Most of the homework that we have is reading with parents, but more than anything, it's a focus on sharing with your parents what you did during the day and reinforcing some of the skills that you learned and taking what you learned at school and applying it to your your home environment or your home family. So it's more about an experiential sharing as opposed to just simply, here's a book, read it for 20 minutes and write it down on a piece of paper. So it's completely involvement with parents.
Thank you.
At Dual Language Academy, the homework is very similar with what Mr. Jocelyn just described, reading every night and practicing or just applying what they learned during the day. Very randomly will they see a worksheet sent home.
Thank you, Irma.
Collegiate Hall, the expectation to try to be learning and growing that curious big brain that we have is there. What that looks like for us is that kindergartners might be able to expect 10 to 15 minutes of at-home activities, but that could look like reading. That could look like your scholar choosing to practice writing their name or words or numbers or letters of their choice, practice counting, maybe going on a letter hunt. Our commitment is for this to be engaging and fun for scholars, just like it is in the classroom, and to show that family engagement piece as well.
Thank you, Whitney. And with that, we'll move into our next question. Can I volunteer in my child's classroom? All right. Who would
Yes.
like to start us off?
I'll start. Yes, you may come up and visit your scholar's classroom. That's one of our expectations. Actually, during the year, we have an open door policy. We expect for our parents to come up and volunteer. We expect for them to come and just check in on their scholars. We encourage our parents to come up and help and support different things within the classrooms, like small groups, sometimes reading. There's so many things. We have an abundance of things that they can help with, but we strongly encourage them. So we always have an open door policy. We need them. This is a partnership. The school can't do it alone. And so we look forward to parent volunteers. Of course, now that we're in COVID, it may look a little different. However, we do strongly encourage our parents to come up and volunteer.
Thank you, Angie.
College Bound is really similar there. Right now during COVID, we're not having any additional visitors to the building, which has been really tough. But I know once we are able to get past this rough spot here, then I know we'll be welcoming families back in the building. We try to have at least one family event each month. And we have some in the morning, sometimes they're in the afternoons, and once in a while in the evening. That way, depending on family schedules, they're able to engage. But having an opportunity for families to come visit the classroom, whether it's for a celebration like Career Day that we celebrate with our kiddos, or whether it is for an opportunity for students to show off some of their learning. So we try to have those family events to engage and bring families in. And we also welcome volunteers as well to support with some of our fun events during the year, with different special events like Hispanic Heritage Month or Black History Month. We try to do big assemblies and get different parents to help out in supporting planning and executing those events. I always need extra help. So we're glad to have volunteers.
Thank you. Would anyone else like to add a little bit more about volunteering at their school?
One thing I would add is I think that probably all of us would agree that we all want parents involved. We're a partnership. And one thing, just an observation, we do a lot of field studies, we do a lot of community activities, and we have a great deal of parent involvement. My 11 years as a principal, something I quickly noticed was that when children are in pre-K and kindergarten, almost every child has a parent at every event. And by the time they're in 5th grade, they're not quite as anxious to jump on board to help out. They've done their time and they're willing to let other parents volunteer. But there have been times that because of bus situations where we have told parents, we can only have one of you. You can't bring mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, and all the siblings along too. And we have families that try to do that. So yeah, we love parent involvement, and we love parents to be in our school, and we love to see them walk in the halls. But again, right now, that's not happening. But I'm confident by fall we'll be back to normal. But I said that last spring too, so who knows?
We can always keep up the hope. So
Yeah.
thank you. So our next question is, what does distance learning look like if my child's class is closed temporarily?
I
For
can start.
us, oh, go right
Okay.
ahead.
Okay, your child will have a schedule. They have a daily meeting, which is just like a morning circle where they have their welcome, their sharing, more to build community. Then from there on, they have their schedule where they have 30-minute lessons. They have a 30-minute lesson for reading or language arts, and a 30-minute lesson for science or social studies, a 30-minute lesson for math. And they have assignments in between that they need to complete. They have time in between where they have the freedom to select from the different learning apps that we provide for them, that they can go and practice their math or practice their reading. Then we always close our day as well with another community circle, community meeting. So they will be in and out of Zoom meetings about 4 times a day, 4 or 5 times a day.
Thank you, Irma. Would anyone like to add to that?
We have about the same schedule. We also we also have our specials that are included. So they're able to do dance, PE. We have STEM that we offer as a specials as well, and computer literacy and something else. Oh, art. How could I forget? So they're able to do those as well during the daytime. We also offer tutoring, a space for tutoring, and then towards the end of the day, they have like social time, and as you stated, like a closing circle. But we do open up with a community circle, and then it dwindles down from there. But they have like a full day. They're not on the computer the whole time. Some are self-paced lessons, so that's another thing. And then we also have project-based activities that they can do just based off of what they've retained from class. Then they may have some project that then they showcase on Thursdays and Fridays. And we offer town halls too once a week. So it's a pretty cool experience.
That's really good. I really like the idea of having a town hall to keep people engaged. Thank you.
So College Bound is a little bit different with our distance learning. Right now, that is the mode that we are in. And our program is a little bit more flexible to meet families' schedules and needs. So students have access to an online curriculum program that they can access 24/7. So for some of our families, it's been easier to do some of the schoolwork in the evening or on the weekend. So we really are flexible with that. And teachers are checking in weekly with families to see how students are progressing, what questions they have. The Zoom learning opportunities are all optional at College Bound because we know it's not always easy to get kids on during the middle of the day, multiple times a day. And so those are optional. We have a couple other opportunities so that kids can get online and be with their teacher and with other kiddos from their class, or they can access videos and lessons at other times. So some families are doing a combination of both of those, as well as additional individualized supports for our students who are English learners, as well as students with IEP needs.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to add? And if not, then we'll move to our next question. What is your program's sick policy? And Whitney, would you like to start?
Sure. At Collegiate Hall, we know that kids get sick. Even Griffins get sick. And so we offer our families time to make up that work while sick. And because we have our co-teacher options and because we have additional student support professionals, we're able to make sure that those families have that support that they need to get that work done. Even in this crazy virtual world where we have our morning meetings that are optional. We have small groups that are optional, and then we have family engagement activities that that students do at home to reinforce our lessons. So there's a variety of options, and that just really allows us to help meet our families where they are and support them so that we can get our students to meet those high academic expectations and be the scholars that we all know and love.
Thank you, Whitney. Is there any additional insight that might be provided by the other schools on the call?
Oh, go right
Go
ahead.
ahead. No, go ahead.
So we value safety as well for our scholars and our team. So if scholars are sick or displaying any symptoms, especially right now since we're in the COVID season, then we do ask for them to stay home. And if they're up to it, like if they're feeling well enough, like say they're in quarantine and they're not showing any symptoms, then we do ask for them to do their work. If they are sick, we don't bother them, but once they start or beginning to feel well again, then we do have makeup work that they can complete. But we don't allow them to fall behind just because they aren't at school. So we give them every opportunity to support.
Thank you, Angie. And Kenneth?
You know, I would really just wanted to reiterate what both of the other panelists said. I think the important thing for us is, you know, we don't want anybody to fall behind, but we sure don't want people at school when they're sick. And that's the important thing. If you're sick, stay home. But if you can, school is important. And, I think that it's, unfortunately, some people think of pre-K or kindergarten as not quite as important, but those are people who have not had children in those programs. And once they have a child in that program, they realize how important it is and that being at school is important. So right now with COVID, it kind of goes back to the previous question that if our classes right now are, because we're in distance learning, are recorded. So if a student cannot attend, then at that moment or that day, the parents have the opportunity to go back and watch the class, a recorded session. So I think we'll have a new normal when we return to school next fall. And I think we'll all start seeing a lot more of that. Well, parents have an opportunity to still engage, their children will still engage with the teachers, even if they have to miss, or at least have more opportunities to do so.
Thank you, Kenneth. And with that, we'll move into our next question. Will your program support my child who does not speak English as their first language? And we do have a few dual language schools on the call, but I would like to open this to some of the other schools just to kind of speak to how they put in support for our dual language learners. Who would like to start?
Sure, I'm happy to start and share a little bit about College Bound. So one thing that College Bound really focuses on is having as many bilingual staff as possible. We are not a dual language program, but about 20% of our staff are Spanish speaking. And so we have several teachers and support staff as well as office staff that are Spanish speaking, which is the primary language of most of our students who speak another language at home. We have a couple other languages as well, but Spanish is the main one that we have. So we really try to support students as they go through learning a new language. It is a long-term process as they continue to grow and learn. And so we really work to individualize that support, but absolutely, we will support those students. Every year we have students who are coming to us and learning English along the way. And so we're happy to provide that support. Again, having two adults in a kindergarten classroom really helps with that as well, so that we can tailor that support. And in College Bound, one thing I haven't mentioned yet, we have a longer school day. We're about an hour longer than most TPS schools, and we have a longer school year. So we start earlier in August, and all of that additional learning time adds up and makes a difference for students over the course of their years here at College Bound.
Thank you. Okay. Would anyone else like to add to that answer or give some additional information about their program? Okay. And if not, then we'll move to our next question. What kinds of qualifications do your program's kindergarten teachers have? Angie, would you like to start? Oh, I believe you're muted.
Sorry, I was looking for my mute button. I'm like, what the heck? Yes. So our kindergarten teachers, they have to possess at least a bachelor's degree and have a whatever it takes mindset, and have a passion for teaching young minds, educating young minds. So that's a qualification for us.
Thank you.
And at College Bound with
And
our
do
two adults, oh, sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
I was just going
Sorry.
to ask for someone to give some more input.
So at College Bound with the two adults in kindergarten, we have a lead teacher and an interventionist. Our lead teachers are Oklahoma certified teachers with at least a bachelor's degree. And our interventionists are not bachelored, but trained and supported here at CBA and certified paraprofessionals. And so we really work to see part of that. Our interventionist team is actually, many of them are in college pursuing their bachelor's degree. So that's part of our teacher pipeline. And so with those two adults, again, one is certified, one is a support professional. One thing that is unique at College Bound is that we have about 3 weeks of teacher training in the summer, as well as ongoing weekly coaching for our teachers. And so what that means is we believe that kids are always learning and growing. We believe adults are always learning and growing. So our teachers are constantly working with their coaches, working with their teams to grow and engage, and having that extra 3 weeks in the summer allows us to train and get really specific and clear on the College Bound way.
Thank you. And with that, we'll move to our next question. And Emily has spoken to this a few times about College Bound's 2-to-1 teacher-child ratio, 2 teachers per classroom. Would anyone else like to talk a little bit more about their teacher-to-child ratio?
We have 20 scholars per classroom, and then we have 4 kinder classes with 20 scholars in them each, and there are 2. We have 2 T2s, so they kind of float between 2 classes, and then the other T2 floats between the other 2 classes.
At Zero, we have 3 kindergarten classes with 29 students in each class, and each class has a certified teacher as well as a teacher's assistant. And in kindergarten and many of the other classrooms, many of our teachers' assistants are certified in their home countries, but not necessarily here in the United States, or have not made that transition yet. Some of the teachers in the upper grades in the building did start out as assistants and were able to get their certifications transferred over the US and have moved into certified positions.
At Mayo, and it really depends on the grade level, but in our pre-K, we have 20 students in every classroom with 2 adults. One's a certified teacher in early childhood, and then the other is a teacher assistant or a para. And then as the students age, the class sizes, we try to keep them around 20, but occasionally it might be a little bit more. That really depends oftentimes on our if a student is retained or if a student moves away. So it might be a little bit less in one grade level and maybe a few more, but generally about 20-to-1.
Thank you.
At Dual Language Academy, we also have a certified teacher in early childhood, plus a teacher's assistant or teacher's aide in each kinder class, and our class sizes are 25 to 26 students.
Thank you, Irma. And with that, we'll move to our next question. What kind of discipline do you use in your program? And so at CAP, teachers do use conscious discipline as a means of redirecting behaviors in the classroom. So if you guys could speak to a little bit about how children are disciplined in your program, please. Let's see. Anyone like to start?
I'll go. We believe in restorative discipline. So we believe that scholars must have like a logical consequence and opportunities to learn from their mistakes and engage in restorative practices. So pretty much just learning from what they do. And it's like teach, not punish. And it also goes along with their transition from CAP, talking to them, talking through it, just giving them a chance to learn from it. An aha moment.
Thank you, Angie.
I'm happy to share
Anyone else?
Collegiate Hall's
Thank you, Whitney.
sort of process on this. At Collegiate Hall, we believe that it always starts with teaching. And so from the jump, students are taught the classroom expectations, and our behaviors and our programming supports and reinforces those expectations. We even have a whole block of time set aside before we start doing academic work to really focus on those cultural expectations and those classroom expectations, so we can all be aligned and working to love those. It begins with teaching, but we know that students are growing and we all make mistakes. And so we use simple redirection to help students get back on track. And if that redirection is just not working and we're still really struggling, then we have options in our calm down corner to find our big emotions and get control of those. And when it's appropriate and when it's time, we would have restorative conversations with those logical consequences. An example of this might be if Miss Whitney I get upset and I dump over my paint. A restorative logical consequence for that would be that after I calm down and I get control of my big feelings, that I get to help my teacher, Miss Jimenez, to clean up that paint that I spilled on the floor.
Thank you, Whitney.
So at College Bound, we really believe that discipline is teaching and training. We don't believe that discipline is punishment at school. And so we start with clear boundaries, clear expectations, and we're always teaching and learning with those. So that includes learning social skills. That includes learning how to problem solve. If someone pushes you at recess, we talk through and role play that. What would that look like? How might you feel? Okay, what do we need to do about it? And how do we problem solve so that we can work through those little everyday moments that happen for kids? And so again, it is a more structured school environment and really clear boundaries and expectations. And those are school-wide. So we use those same classroom expectations in every class, including PE, including in the cafeteria, the same expectations are up. And we have a safe space in every space, including the gym, when they go to STEM class, in all of those spaces. And we intentionally use some of the conscious discipline strategies, the breathing strategies, the balloon, the star, the pretzel. We teach those same ones because that helps students, especially in their early years transitioning. We have safe spaces all the way through 4th grade in every single classroom because kids are still learning and growing. And so similar to what some of the other leaders were sharing about is that we use natural consequences. If a student throws their crayons, they get upset, they might need to go to the safe space, use a breathing strategy as support them in regulating themselves, and then clean up those crayons, check and see if anyone got hurt, and be able to move forward with their day. We do not use a lot of exclusionary practices like suspension or in-school suspension or detention. Those types of things really harm relationships. And so we really keep it focused on supporting students to remain in their classroom environment in order to be safe and have healthy relationships with their other students in their class, their peers, as well as their teachers at school.
Thank you so much, Megan. Thank you. Okay. And then we'll move into our last question from the FAQs. What types of tests will my child be given during the school year, and how will I be informed of my child's progress? And so if we could just, if anyone wants to jump in first, we can start that conversation.
Well, I'll speak for, at least for Tulsa Public Schools. I believe it was last year, maybe 2 years ago, we piloted for the district ELQA, and I'm drawing a complete blank on what that stands for, but it's the students are given this ELQA assessment. I don't refer to them as tests, or their assessments, and 3 or 4 times a year. And that's the only formal, what I would say formal assessments that we do. The rest, we do frequent informal assessments, usually one-on-one with the child. Teachers just, pulling child's children to a teacher table and doing formative assessments with them. But formal, what you might call tests, is just the ALQA, and it's just 3 times a year, 3 or 4 times a year.
I can kind of jump in on Zero. We are part of TPS. We give our students several different assessments throughout the year, one of which is the MAP test, which is given in Spanish. It's the measure of academic progress. They are given several formal assessments one-on-one throughout the year as well. And as for informing parents of their child's progress, they will be informed through parent-teacher conferences, through emails, through one-on-one conversations. We also have student-led conferences, and parents can absolutely reach out to their student's teacher at any time for more information regarding their child's progress. As for grades, those grades can be viewed through Canvas, which is the Tulsa Public Schools learning platform, and or PowerSchool.
Thank you. So in addition to the MAPS test and the early learning quick assessment, I always forget that acronym too.
Thank you.
Are there any other assessments that are used?
Yes, at Tulsa Legacy, our kindergarten scholars take the benchmark assessment 3 times a year. So that's fall, winter, and spring. And this test helps to monitor what level the scholars were on when they entered the program and how much they grew by the end of the program. And this test also assesses their cognitive and their social growth. Of course, the MAP test was mentioned, and then scholars also take weekly assignments, like testing with weekly assignments in literacy, math, and reading foundations to progress and monitor their growth from week to week, to just make sure that they're retaining the knowledge that they've been given the students. And if they haven't gotten it, then that's a chance for them to go back and figure out where were the where were the gaps, and reteach and support those students that need a bit more. And then scholars take unit assessments about every 4 to 6 weeks. And that's for literacy, math, and enrichment.
Thank you, Angie. And so for the sake of time, we will move into questions from the chat box.
So as of right now, I believe that there is only one participant that will be linking up with Ivan on their particular case at a school that we have with Cap Tulsa. And from there, we do not have anything that has not already been answered from the panelists. So thank you guys so much for addressing that. Any attendees that have last minute questions, please feel free to go ahead and submit in the Q&A section if you would like. And if there are no other questions, we can open it up to ask if there are any upcoming either virtual events or community events or things that some of our attendees would need to know from your particular school.
Well, I can say, I think somebody else mentioned earlier that enrollment is open for Tulsa Public Schools right now, and some of the other schools, some of the charter schools use the same platform, enroll.tulsaschools.org. My school in particular, if you go to mayo.tulsaschools.org at the bottom of the homepage, there are 4 different virtual tours, virtual meetings for interested parents, and there is a link to sign up on those. So mayo.tulsaschools.org.
And at Zero, we do have the same on our website at zero.tulsaschools.org. We have a link to our next 2 parent meetings. We have one more parent meeting left in English and one more parent meeting, left in Spanish with a sign-up link as well.
And I will second that. I have exactly the same, one left in English, one left in Spanish. It's same thing. Go to dla.tulsaschools.org and you'll find that information at the bottom of the page.
And just a reminder for all of us, that deadline is February 12th to submit your application. So if you have any questions in navigating that online, needing help submitting your documents, I know all of us are happy to help in that process, connecting via phone or email. That way our teams can help support parents with any questions that you have. And it has that ranking system, so you can list several schools that you're interested in the order of your interest for your student, okay? Thank you so much for the time today.
Thank you.
I'd like to add on to what she just said, because I think that I hear parents often say, I had no idea that enrolling my child in pre-K or kindergarten was going to be so difficult. And a lot of people don't realize that, you have to do it. I mean, you need to start the year before and start looking at the schools and touring. And it is, if it's your first child, it's intimidating. It can be intimidating and it can be confusing, and you don't have to do it alone. That's what we're all here for. We're all here, even though we have different schools, we're all here for Tulsa children. Reach out to any one of us. We're all happy to help.
Thank you so
I
much,
also just
Kenneth.
wanted to add thank you from a special services perspective. I know I was able to chat with some of you ahead of time. I've put my contact information in the chat. If any of you can or have questions for us, or if we can better collaborate with you, please reach out to me and let me know.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. So with that,
You're gonna do great.
we would thank you, Whitney. Yes, everybody needs that encouragement, especially in times like these. So thank you all so much for joining our session. First, we'd like to thank our guest panelists and attendees for contributing to this session. I really enjoyed talking with you all. We appreciate feedback. So if you are viewing this live, please complete the post-attendee survey after this session. Our discussion has been recorded and will be posted to the CAP website as a resource for all parents. And in addition to the video as a resource, you'll also receive a kindergarten transition booklet from your teacher, and that booklet will include additional information about preparing for kindergarten. We also have set up the Transitioning Your Child to the Next Age Group page on the CAPS website for more information. Thank you guys so much for your time today. I know we went a little bit over, but please reach out to the transition team at transitions@captulsa.org if you have any additional questions. So thank you all so much for your time and enjoy the rest of your day.